Hey, great Wednesday morning. It is a beautiful morning in the city of Brownsville. And it's still a hot day. Uh, it's hot in many aspects, but it's hot. And I would expect it at this point in time for it to slowly start to cool down a little bit since we're starting to hit autumn. As isn't it already the end of summer, or is it the oh is it towards the end of September?
Hi, good morning, Erasmo. Yeah, we're about that time. And as many are aware, it is hot. A lot of people have been feeling the heat. I'm sure a lot of the community is tuning in. I've had teachers, administrators reach out to me and ask if we could postpone this live to a later time since they are starting school and many are working. But you are right. We are getting closer to the end of summer, um, but the heat is felt by many.
Well, I think fall 2024, also known as autumn, will begin Sunday, September 22nd. I just Googled that. You know when the hour changes?
I have no clue.
Fall back 24. Oh, November the 3rd? Damn, that seems late, no? I'm pretty fed up with this time right now. I hate the time that we're in. Más que nada, for a lot of us that have a lot of dealings with Matamoros in Mexico. Mexico, not Matamoros. Matamoros is on the same hour as we are, but Mexico, it really does suck because we're really like an hour ahead of Monterrey, an hour ahead of Victoria, an hour ahead of every other central time zone city, major city in Mexico. We're an hour ahead of Mexico City, and it sucks because like, if you're traveling these places, you get stuck in that little parenthesis, and it really disrupts everything. For me, it does. I don't know about anybody else, but I heard that there was a movement in order to end this daylight savings time crap and changing the hour, which I hope they do. For a lot of us that move around a lot, it would be better just to keep the hour as it is. I don't get it anymore. I understand that back in the day, allá cuando when our grandparents and great grandparents were young, it made sense because they'd have more time during the day and because there was less light out there. So that makes sense. But right now with technology and lights everywhere except on the expressway, este, you know, why? It's not necessary. Does that make sense or no? No?
Sure.
You're still you're, you're still young. BISD, FBI info. Car wash is craziness. Good morning to you too. Yeah, we'll do both. Let's do the car wash thing. Trey Mendes put up a post. Um, I think yesterday, 2 days ago, they got a lot of backlash because was out there mentioning in regards to the car washes and how there's one right close to the other. And a lot of people went on there and said, "Well, what did you do during your time in administration?" I mean, y'all, that's when the car washes started to peak. I think it's very, very hypocritical for PUB, to go out there and ask us folk, "Hey, este, conserve water," when we've got all these car washes popping up. BISD FBI info. What's up with FBI and BISD, Frankie?
It seems as if this is a revolving issue that BISD has been dealing with as of late. What is interesting to learn from this is that there is smoke. There is smoke currently right now at the school district here in Brownsville. Um, Many people are aware of um, law enforcement investigating. and we are very familiar of our recent history. But it's interesting to learn, and I'm glad I jumped on this morning to discuss this important issue. But it is something that the federal law enforcement agency is currently investigating, and there is the notion that something's going to happen.
Well, something's already happened. Let's make that very clear to everyone. I there was a little bit of backlash of individuals going like, "Oh well, nobody's getting arrested. No one's got arrested yet." You have to understand that a lot of times, a lot of this information that is sent in is sent in by individuals that are in the know or that have seen something. One of the things that I made mention yesterday that can be confirmed because we'll go into the BISD statement in a little bit. One of the things that can be confirmed is Brownsville Police Department was called in and started to investigate. They did contact the feds because some of the alleged activity that is going on at BISD reaches that level. And before we go into it, let me say the reason that the feds sometimes need to be called in is a lot of people don't understand the dynamics in regards to what monies BISD uses. And a big old chunk of the money that BISD uses are federal funds, money that's coming from the government. And because these monies are coming from the government, ultimately the government wants to make sure that these monies are being spent for the reason that they were given to a specific entity. The same thing happened with IEA, those schools for the which now the Gallegos family are in trouble. And they've been called in, they've been picked up, they've been arrested. It's the same reason because a lot of the funds that were being used and are being used for a lot of these places that house children uh, are being funded by the government. It's one of the reasons why the West Brownsville Politiquera Church is also being investigated by the feds because a lot of the monies that they received are federal monies. So whenever you have any entity out there that is being funded in part or in full by federal monies, you're going to get a lot of scrutiny from the federal government. And one of the things, and again, one of the things that a lot of these entities, fail to completely probably understand is that the federal government has unlimited resources to go after any entity that attempts to pocket any money. So the Brownsville Police Department was involved, 100% yes. Uh, were the feds called in? Yes. I mean, 100% has the FBI been to BISD? Yes, they have. Now, was someone arrested? Because that's the information at the moment. No. Will someone be arrested? I'm going to bet Frankie's last dollar that yes, someone will be arrested because look, anyone out there that doesn't truly believe that a lot of these individuals are skimming from contracts, are having these deep conversations with vendors, are not pocketing the money that should go to the students and staff, believes that nothing bad happens to BSD, then you're probably very, very naive or don't have a complete grasp as regards to how politicians work here locally. Uh, Frank, you've heard in regards to the Brownsville Police Department being in there, no?
Yes, it was interesting, Erasmo. Yesterday, I met with, I'll say, a contact. I met with this person, and it's funny because every time I meet with them, me being so naive, I think, oh, they just want to catch up and, sing kumbaya. Well, to my surprise, they wanted me to work on a story, and they brought documents from a case out of Hidalgo County. And when I saw them, I said, "Oh, great! You summoned me to a meeting to do your dirty work." Huh? And they said, "No, you're doing God's work." But what was interesting, and again, this happened out of nowhere. The individual that contacted me wanted me to focus on a story out of Hidalgo County. And that person said, this involves Cameron County and in particular BISD. Once we started discussing the matter over lunch, it became apparent that there is a vendor working for the FBI, and that is a story that I will be working on within the next I want to say 2 weeks. I just need to confirm some details that I was given in order to solidify my my statements and my story. Because again, we don't work on hearsay. Because again, as you know, Erasmo, our job is on the line, so to speak, our credibility. So anything that we post on here, I always make sure that it is verified. You talk about the Brownsville PD being involved, and which is kind of weird because whenever you talk about a federal investigation, there's always a witness, there's always a human source, so to speak, involved. I did find it odd that we did confirm that there is an investigation going on. What my sources tell me is that it involves a board member, one for sure, possibly
Possibly
two,
two.
and a superintendent. And when they said superintendent, I was like, what? I was like, no way. According to my sources, they were summoned. They were summoned to speak with the FBI. Now, will that lead to an arrest? Um, More than likely, yes. Shortly after my meeting with my contact, I did reach out to multiple people that I trust and that have fed me information and that are somehow in the loop. And they did confirm, yes, this is something that happened on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. That
Right.
word got out that something was going to occur on Monday, to be on the lookout. Of course, yesterday we were on anticipating for something to go down because nothing happened on Monday. But that is correct, Erasmo. And just to be clear, you were the last person that I confirmed because I confirmed with, because of course, you know, Erasmo Castro is always in the loop. So I made sure that I confirmed with 3-4 sources before I confirmed with you, and you said yes, that's the same thing that I'm hearing. And there's no way that you could have spoken to these 3 people, because not that you don't know them, but they're just different circles
In a different
that
pool.
they're different pools of people that we interact with, and that's how I like to keep it. Because once you start meshing with the same people, the ideas get murky, and they say, "Oh, yes, yes, yes." No, I like to confirm with different sources, and then I confirm with you. But yes, that is the information that we've been given. Brownsville PD is currently investigating BISD.
Yeah, and what Frankie says is very true. When I received the first notification, I was going like, and then I immediately I got a call from someone other and said like, yes, say, you know, we've been hearing about the FBI, and then there was a couple of other posts out there, you know, that came up and information that was sent that kind of like put all these little pieces together. When you got one individual telling you, "Hey, this is happening," you go like, "Well," but when you got multiple individuals letting you know, and then you know, you and I had a conversation, and then you had other individuals that were letting you know, then it sort of all makes sense. And let me say again, what has been confirmed is that there is an investigation going on. The way that I think it happened, and I'll make mention of this. The way that I think that things went down was someone filed a report to local law enforcement in regards to misdoings at the district, and that would be like the like going up the chain of command. So they would contact a local law enforcement agency, not BISD police, Brownsville Police Department, saying, "Hey, you know, well, we found this, and you know, there's money missing, or there's wire transfers that were made that were inappropriate, or there's vendors that you know have inside information in regards to upcoming contracts. You know, we're getting pressure by board members to approve this contract, this other contract." Brownsville Police Department, they have to investigate. Once a report is made, they have to investigate. They can't sweep it under the table. They can't confer with a lot of individuals. What I think is Brownsville Police Department said, wait a minute, this is above our pay grade. This does not fall in local, because they realized that the monies that were being misused, or the monies that were being mentioned or missing, actually came from the federal government. When that happens, then they have to involve the agency, the law enforcement agency that has not jurisdiction, but that curtails to what the issue is. This is why I think that Brownsville Police Department contacted, the feds, a higher up, and then they decided to come in and question individuals. The information that I received, I don't know if you received the same information, is that the superintendent has already been questioned, and that's why the FBI was in there yesterday or Monday to question the superintendent. And why? Because the way that the organizational chart is set up is the superintendent actually is the head of the district as an institution that moves funds. The board members only oversee, Frankie, or that's the way it's supposed to be. They oversee, but ultimately the buck stops with the superintendent. Now, am I saying that the superintendent did something wrong? I'm not saying that. I'm saying that they would go to him because he is the head of the organization. So they're going to question the head and say, we want information in regards to this, this, and this. Give us documents, give us papers. And then it's up to the superintendent either to take it to legal in order to be opposed to the requests that are being made by law enforcement agencies, or if he thinks it is justified, then transfer over, or make sure that the staff transfers over to local to federal agencies any information that they're requesting. That is the way that I feel this thing is transpiring. Now, in regards to vendors out there working with the FBI, vendors are not going to be the cash cow for board members forever, and it's going to get to a boiling point to where vendors are going to go, don't want to play this game anymore, don't want to play this game anymore, or the amounts of money that are being requested by board members, it just seems a little bit too steep. When that happens, you better believe that any multi-million dollar entity or corporation, which a lot of these vendors are, Frankie, a lot of these vendors are multi-million dollar organizations. They are going to want to be caught with their tail between their legs. So they're going to work with any law enforcement agency to make sure that they're not the focus of any investigation. So the way that I feel things transpire, and again, I know for a fact that this happens. We lived it with Sylvia Atkinson. We lived it with Drew Brown, Priscilla Tipton, Minerva Peña, and Baltasar Salazar. This is one of the things that I find so amazing, Frankie, that a lot of people here locally, they have a short memory. They have a very, very short memory, or not a complete grasp of what really happens at BISD. Because if you remember, exactly the same thing happened during the Sylvia Atkinson reign. Exactly the same thing. And we now know that she was guilty of, requesting these monies from this movie deal crap thing or whatever it was, $10,000. And a lot, even then, it's so amazing because people here in Brownsville o están ciegos o se hacen los ciegos, because a lot of individuals went out there and said, well, Erasmo, you were mentioning that it was millions of dollars. They got her for $10,000. It's a big difference. I'm going like, you really think that they only took $10,000? It's the drug effect, Frankie. The drug effect. When you hear, folks, when you're out there and you hear, hey, the customs and customs agents at the bridge, they have seized 10,000 kilos of cocaine. People go like, well, 10,000 kilos of cocaine. You really think that's the only amount of drugs that are coming across the border? No, that's a small percentage of what really is happening. And the same thing happens with local law enforcement numbers when they try to put up there that, well, Brownsville is the safest city, the 16th safest city in the country. You really think that our numbers really portray what happens on the ground here locally? It's impossible. Just this weekend, we had multiple incidents that probably don't fall into that type of category of numbers that they go out there and mention. The same thing happens with BISD. When you hear that a Sylvia Atkinson was put in jail for $10,000, you know she stole at least 10 million easily. It's just a percentage game. So anytime you have a federal agency like the FBI going into BISD and saying, we're going to question the superintendent, we're going to question BISD administration, and we're focusing on a board member, you better believe that it's a lot greater than what we're hearing. So again, if we're hearing that local law enforcement is involved, which we can confirm that the FBI has been called, which can also be confirmed, then you better believe that's a lot bigger than anything that we know at this moment, because they're not going to be out there spewing information to everyone out there because it's an ongoing investigation. But the information that we have as of right now is that law enforcement was involved, federal agencies have been brought in, superintendent has been questioned, other individuals at BISD have been questioned. Now, is the focus on administration? I would dare say no. Well, let me repeat. Let me clarify. Do I believe that the superintendent has anything to do with this? I would dare say no. I don't think that he's done anything shady. I don't think that he's done anything under the table. He just got there, Frankie. He's only been there for what, 6 months, 9 months. He's very, very new to this game. Have the board members tried to use their position, their power to rake in some bucks and some cash? I completely believe that.
BISD is a monster. A budget of $500 million. It's a Fortune 500 company, one of the biggest districts south of San Antonio, if I'm not mistaken. When you really think about it, there's so many ways and so many opportunities that individuals have to steal to create ways for their friends and family to make money. Now, whenever we talk about the federal government looking into these type of entities, what comes to mind is either official oppression, is misuse of federal funds. We just saw that a few years ago with a BISD board member being arrested, as you previously spoke about. What is interesting to gather from all this, Erasmo, is that there's something brewing, and as the saying goes, where there's smoke, there's fire. And I don't believe in coincidences. I really do not believe in coincidences. Yesterday, and again, I go back to my meeting yesterday with my source. They said, "Oh, by the way, we can confirm that we did see a board member walking out of the FBI building." And when I said, "Well, can you confirm?" And they said, "Well, when somebody asked that board member what they were doing, they said, 'Oh, well, I'm campaigning.'" I'll just leave it at that. So it's interesting to learn how the dynamics of this plays out. And as Gene mentions, it does take time. Sylvia Atkinson wasn't arrested from one day to the other. It was a year long, possibly longer, investigation, which ultimately led to her arrest and conviction. What I believe that happened is that, um, in my opinion, vendors are getting pinched. Uh,
Too much.
too much money is never enough money. These people become greedy. And as you all know, right now we're in campaign season. Campaigns at Osmo are very, very expensive. When you talk about the contracts that are given to these businesses, organizations, you're talking about hundreds of thousands, if not in the millions of
Millions.
dollars. So what's 5,000? What's 10,000? What's a couple grand to these? It's a drop in the bucket. But as you previously mentioned, these individuals get tired of being squeezed. They said, "Hey, man, I already gave you enough." My best bet, and uh, I have three board members in mind that I probably shouldn't share with as to who um, they might be investigating, but I have three, and my sources say that I'm probably not off. So there are three board members that come to mind in regards to this criminal investigation. Um, what is funny to learn from this is that there is no denial that this is going on. We can confirm from a board member that this, in fact, is happening right now. And I would like to talk about the statement that was issued by BISD, which is very, very vague, if you ask me. As we all know right now, the district does not have a public information officer. I believe Mr. Jason Moody resigned, and to my understanding, that position has not been filled as of yet. What I find it kind of odd, Erasmo, is for the human resource department head to issue this statement. Now, is she now in charge of the public information department? Possibly. But for the superintendent to not come out and issue a statement, that to me is very odd, in my opinion.
Well, and we're going to go into the we're going to go into the statement that BISD put out, and what is not mentioned in the statement is very, very damning. That's what a lot of people need to understand, because immediately individuals were sending it to me or posting it on the on the different posts that were placed out there. I think they placed it on one of the ones that you posted, and a couple of the ones that I posted. And what the statement says is, again, first of all, I don't understand why Dr. Gallegos is the one that's going out there to make this statement. I don't know if she is being thrown under the bus, Frankie, being thrown under the bus and saying like, well, you're already involved in a different investigation. Let's just let her go out there and take the fall. Because at the end of the day, the statement should have come from the PR department. And as Frankie mentioned, Jason Moody is no longer there. So you would think, like, well, Jason Moody can't put out the statement. But he was the head of the PR department. While Jason Moody has resigned, there has to be someone that is in charge of that department, someone who would take the lead. So automatically, first off, you would have the department or whoever is right now an interim for Jason Moody putting out the statement. It's not a one-man show, Frankie. The PR department is not a one-man show. It is a department. Once you walk into the Glass Palace, once you walk into BISD, right behind the security guard, you got the PR people right there. They're watching what comes into BISD. That's their job, to be the front line between the BISD administration and the general public. They're right there at the front and center of it all. So you would think that someone from the department was going to come out with a statement. They don't have anyone in the PR department. You don't have the PR department at all putting out a statement. It doesn't make sense. Why was not the PR department the ones that put out this memo, this statement out there? You got Dr. Gallegos making the statement. And again, nothing against Dr. Gallegos. Again, if she was asked to do this, she's going to go put it up there, because media inquiries, Frankie, do not go through the HR department. Now, first of all, they don't go to the HR department. Frankie, HR department handles BISD staff, not the board members. That's not their function. The human resources are there for BISD administration and staff, not for the board members. But the statement, Frankie, what it says is Brownsville Independent School District has been made aware of a false and misleading post circulating on social media regarding a BISD board member. Doesn't make sense. That's not their job. HR department, that's not their function, Frankie, to be the voice for the Brownsville Independent School District board members. It isn't. It isn't. They're there for administration and staff, period. It does not fall under their job description and their job duties. Why is the Brownsville Department, Brownsville Independent School District Human Resources Department out there making a statement to clarify an issue concerning a board member? Doesn't make sense. Let's start off with that. Doesn't make sense. And if something that doesn't make sense, then there's got to be something behind it, Frankie. Why was the Human Resources Department going out there and making a statement to clarify an issue with a board member or a couple of board members or several board members? Why? Do you have any idea?
No, I don't, but I previously stated, I find it very, very, very odd. And if I can, I'm not sure if it comes out on yours, but just for the viewers, just to have the, if you could put it up very quickly. We're going to read it very quickly. It says, Brownsville BISD has been made aware of false and misleading posts circulating on social media regarding a BISD board member. We encourage our community to rely.
Okay. Let's take it by sections. Right there. That doesn't make sense, Frankie. Does it make sense to anyone out there? Why would the HR department come out with a statement concerning a BISD board member? It's not their job. It doesn't make any sense.
Also, Erasmo, I would dare argue that this probably, and again, I'm speaking as a lay person. This probably falls on legal. Why wasn't there a statement from one of the attorneys? I think it would be better suited for, in my opinion, when I think of a school district, I automatically think of the superintendent. He is at the head. He's the CEO. He's the one in charge. He's the GM. He's running the ship. We do not get a statement from the superintendent, and also we do not get a statement from legal. Why doesn't the attorneys come out and say, "Hey, this is misleading"? If there's any information that the district would like to convey, we will convey that information. So I find it very odd that this does not come from legal and does not come from the superintendent.
100%, because if it's, again, and I think what my opinion, I think what they're trying to deviate the conversation to say, board members are okay. Why didn't it come from legal? First of all, why didn't it come from the PR department? First of all, why did it not come from the PR department? Second of all, why did it not come from the superintendent's office, Frankie? Because the superintendent has his own staff up there. I mean, half a third of the third floor, Frankie, a third of the third floor up there at the Glass Palace at BISD, is for the superintendent. Why didn't it come from the superintendent's office? Third, why didn't it come from legal? Because this could potentially be a legal issue, a legal matter. Why didn't it come from legal? And I'm not speaking about Mike Gonzalez, about the BISD attorney. He has a department, Frankie. He's got people in there. Why didn't it come from someone from his office to dispute and to say, hey, this is the issue at hand?
Erasmo, if I could interject very quickly, do you think, and it just came to my mind, do you think that there was collusion, or maybe the board members reached out to Ms. Gallegos and said, hey, we need to issue a statement, like circumventing maybe the superintendent and saying, hey, throw something out there, because if you and I were getting messages, if we were getting, calls left and right, I could just imagine the board members, they were probably getting bombarded and saying, hey, is there any validity to this? What if it was a board member saying, hey, issue a statement. We need something out there right now. But I just find this post very, very odd, in my opinion.
It makes absolutely no sense. why it came from the Human Resources Department, why it came from Dr. Gallegos, why it didn't come from someone where this falls under. Now, take into consideration, Frankie, there's two different legals at BISD.
Mm-hmm.
There's two different legals at BISD. You got BISD legal and you got board legal. They have their own firm that represents, Frankie. They have their own firm that represents the board. The board. So if this was an issue in regards to a post out there, in regards to a board member, why didn't what's the name of the law firm that McCleary?
Walsh.
Huh?
Walsh.
No, is it McCleary or Mc something? Mc
The, the
attorney?
the the board attorneys.
Yeah.
Isn't it Walsh Gallegos?
No, it's
Wasn't it Walsh Gallegos?
did they change it? No, it was that guy that the attorney guy. I can't remember the guy's name. But why did their firm, Frankie, put out a statement? You know, if it's dealing with a board member, why didn't the board side of it go out there and O'Hanlon, McCleary? I knew it was one of those. I knew it was one of those.
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right.
I knew it was one of those.
White names.
No, those. What's it called? Scottish names. Scottish name. O'Hanlon, O'Hanlon, McCleary, O'Hanlon. Why didn't O'Hanlon, the firm, not O'Hanlon, the man? Why didn't the firm put out a statement? It doesn't make sense that Dr. Linda Gallegos was used, or her department was used, to put out a statement in regards to an issue with a board member. Has anyone ever heard of that? Anyone? No. And again, a lot of times, Frankie, these messages, these immediate releases, they try to put the focus back on the individuals that are out there actually reporting in regards to the issue at hand. We'll continue with the message. We encourage our community to rely on official media channels for accurate and up-to-date information. Do you really trust local media channels, Frankie, to go out there and put anything in regards to what is really going on at the district? Anyone out there? We've got the Lucios, Mark Anthony Lucio. Mark Anthony Lucio is going out there, Frankie, has filed a lawsuit against the board and BISD. Have you ever seen anything in regards to it in our local media channels? Ever? Has BISD put out a statement? Has their PR department said anything? No. But you've got a student and you've got some parents that have been mistreated and abused, and we know several other cases in regards to what really is going on at the district. Has the media even covered it, Frankie? And this is a recent case. Have you seen anything in the Herald about it? Anything? Nothing.
And the reason that is, and as we all know, you know, we in our area here in Bronzeville, we do lack investigative journalism. What happens is that these media entities, in some way or another, they're in bed with the likes of BISD. And I say that because, well, they pay for advertisement. It would not be in their benefit to run stories alleging misconduct, because at the end of the day, these board members are the ones that ultimately approve certain advertising deals, so to speak, and in some sort of way. Maybe they don't approve them directly, but they have a way of preventing these individuals from working with them. So do we trust these local entities? Of course not. It wasn't until, you know, Sylvia Atkinson got arrested that, you know, they were forced to report. But as you all know, everybody, I don't want to say knew about Sylvia Atkinson's dealings, but it was out there. So for the human resource department head, Ms. Gallegos, to state, oh, only rely on official media channels. That's kind of like that's like a laughing. To me, that makes me laugh because they're not accurate. They only report um, when it's already at the front doorsteps, when the matters have already been dealt with. So no, I do not trust our local media in no shape or form.
Well, it makes no sense. And again, they're trying to deviate. And again, one of the things that I think that our community has, which is a plus, I don't care what anyone out there says, because a lot of individuals that are going out there and going like, well, this, a lot of these individuals are going out there and saying like, well, Erasmo and Frankie, they're just throwing out their misinformation. Really? Uh, we're out there letting individuals know what is truly happening at the district, what's truly happening at the city, at the county, and everything else. And again, I don't care that there's going to be a couple of cheerleaders out there applauding their way. The same thing happened. We were going after Sylvia Atkinson, Minerva Peña, all these other things. And let me say this, just a parenthesis, going back into the thing. We were right there. I was right there when Minerva Peña went out there and told Baltasar, I need another $1,000. Baltasar says, well, I just gave you some money recently. Go, well, I need another one because of the baseball league. And let me explain this. One of the things that the board members do is that they bleed the vendors, Frankie, for money in order to up their game in regards to their political stance, before the community. I'll give you an example. Minerva Peña, in that occasion, wanted $1,000 to give to the baseball league. I think the West Pony
West
League.
Brazil?
Yeah, I'm not sure the complete name. And I love them. It's not their fault. I'm not blaming them. But she asked Baltasar Salazar in that one occasion for $1,000 to give to the Pony League to make Baltasar Salazar look good before the Pony League or before the voters or before the people of Brownsville. No, to make herself look good. So people may go out there and say, well, she's doing it for the community. No, she's doing it for herself in order to up her game. It's the same thing that board members do. And I question this from Commissioner de los Santos because of some of the posts that were made out there in regards to sponsorship for certain events that were being held out there at the community. It's the game, Frankie. Hey, I need $5,000 to go out there and make a backpack distribution thing. Nobody cares that it came from the internet company or that it came from the light company or it came from the sewer. Nobody cares about that. All they see is this commissioner, this board member, this trustee went out there and donated 5,000 backpacks for kids. It's not coming from them, Frankie. It's coming from the vendors. That is the way the system works. It bleeds money from the vendors in order to up the game. Now that's part of it. A lot of questions have been asked, and I think Maggie was the one that was out there asking questions in regards to certain board members now driving new cars and having surgery done on them, or fixing parts of their body, or now dressing very nicely when they didn't before. Where is this cash flow coming from? A lot of individuals are questioning that, Frankie. Where is this cash flow coming when individuals, are not very economically well advantaged, Frankie? They don't have the funds coming in. They're not working. And all of a sudden, they're driving new cars. Where is this money coming from? Guys, there's too many dots out there that local media, official media channels, Channel 4 will never cover it. Channel 23 will never cover it. Guys, what Frankie mentioned right now is very, very true. You would have never gotten a Tenasca audit if it had not been for posts from the bloggers like Juan Montoya, the post that we put up, Frankie. We have never gotten an audit if we hadn't continued to put pressure on it. Once the audit came out, Frankie, again, a lot of the news sources, they did a 180, Frankie. They came back and did a 180. I had a discussion with a friend of mine, the guy from Mireles, Rudy Mireles from Channel 5 News. I had a discussion with him very publicly on social media, Frankie, on social media in regards to Tenasca. And I was going, bro, they're ripping us off blind. He goes, and I swear the numbers don't show it. I've seen the numbers. They don't show it. And I said, they fudge up the numbers, Rudy. Don't fall for their trap. Once the audit came out, Frankie, Rudy did a 180. He was pissed. He was pissed because he was out there defending them because of the numbers. Local media is a joke. He was pissed and then started to go after them because of what came out in the audit. You cannot trust local media to do investigative reporting. We have no investigative reporting here locally. None. Zero. Zip. If it wasn't for bloggers, if it wasn't for Frankie's show, Frankie's post, if it wasn't for an Erasmo Castro out there, we would not be aware of anything that transpires until after the fact. Because after the fact, after the Tenasca audit came out, then everyone was on board, Frankie. Then all local media, all sources were, oh, yes, Tenasca. Yeah, because they had now, been left miles behind because had been reporting on it for 10 years. Same thing with Sylvia Atkinson. No one touched Sylvia Atkinson, Frankie. No one wanted to get involved. No one wanted to do any investigative journalism out there. No one. Nada. Zip. Zero. It was after she was arrested that everyone was going like, well, we got to get the story. You could have had the story years ago. So in regards to this happening, Linda Gallegos, and again, no blame to her, but Bisd now wants the community to rely on the Herald, Bisd, PR department, Channel 4, Channel 23, or Channel 23 to tell them what really is happening at the district. Nombre, shut up. Te quedas atrás. Continue with Roman. Thank you for understanding and continued support. Continued support? After you've got a district that has neglected the students in regards to providing air condition, Frankie, air condition in their facilities, which has been an issue with once the school year started. And I never understand that, Frankie. Why is it till the first day of school that the district is now very, very concerned in regards to, well, air conditioning is not working? Shouldn't that they take care of that months before when the students were not in the classrooms to make sure that there was air conditioning out there? Why is it once we're in, now we're checking up on it? And about the information, contact bounds the police department. I'm going to contact the information department. I'm going to contact Dr. Linda Gallegos, and I'm going to ask her. You mentioned on the immediate release that for more information, contact the district at this number. I'm going to call her office today, Frankie, and I'm going to ask. You opened the invitation by saying, for any other information, contact Bisd. I'm going to call them right after the show. I should call them right now while we're on live and ask them. We want information in regards to the local law enforcement being in there. Should we call them now or should I wait till after the show?
I just wait till after the show. You're gonna get the runaround. They're gonna. It's apparent that no arrests that we know of have been made. What is interesting from that post at Osmo is that they do not deny. They are not denying of our statements that, in fact, that there were either one or two board members that spoke with the FBI. Also, according to the sources, also the superintendent did speak to the FBI. Now, does that mean that the superintendent, being less than 6 months on the job, did something illegal? I don't know. Maybe he knows something. Maybe that's the reason why he was given the job at Osmo. Because again, if we really look at it, and this is probably opening up a can of worms, but when you really look at it, he only applied for interim, with the understanding that, oh, this is only temporary. You're not going to get the job. But lo and behold, the board majority, Daniela Lopez Valdez, says, oh, we've been getting countless of messages and saying that, we deserve Dr. Chavez as being the head, being the superintendent. Now, again, I'm probably reaching more than I should, but maybe there is some sort of dealings that, hey, we'll give you the job, but play ball, shut up, don't bring anything to light. This memo, this statement that was issued by the school district, um, it's very vague. It's very vague, and it doesn't really deny. It doesn't really deny the statements. It just says, well, according to a board, like the board members, kind of alluding to there was no arrest being made. But according to our sources, it's gonna happen.
Well, people going, call down, call down. Uh, we could call. Again, we're not going to get any answers. Maybe we should call.
You're just gonna get the runaround.
Let's try it. 548-8004.
La raza, la raza. Call.
Someone's probably going, don't answer the phone. Don't answer the phone.
They're probably watching. I know a bunch of teachers are watching.
Thank you for calling Brown YUC. How can I assist you?
Oh, yes. Is this a human resource department?
No, this is public information office.
Oh, okay. Well, good. I have a question for you. Yesterday, Dr. Linda Gallegos put up a post in regards, in media release in regards to media inquiries.
Mhm.
And I have some questions. In the post, she did mention for more information, contact the Brownsville Independent School District at this number. So I'd like a little bit of more information, and I have some questions. Can you answer these questions?
The appropriate person to speak about this would be Dr. Gallegos. If you could provide me with your phone number so I can let her know to call you.
Can you transfer me over to the HR department?
Yes, of course. Please hold.
Thank you.
She's gonna be in a meeting. Watch.
Again, why isn't the PR department handling this? You know, why are they sending it off to Dr. Gallegos? It makes no sense.
They know you're calling.
Of course they are. If you call, Frankie owes you lunch. I agree. Yeah, I hear him yelling all the way from here to my office. Don't answer the call. Whatever you do, keep him on hold. He's only got 7 more minutes. Well, they made the invitation.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes. Okay. So currently, Dr. Gallegos is in a meeting. Could I please have your phone number so I can call you back?
Yes. Is there anyone in the HR department that can take my call? I mean, I know it's a department. I know that there's several individuals in there. Can anyone there take the call? I mean, and again, the only reason I'm calling is because the invitation was made, by Dr. Gallegos and by the HR department in regards to, for more information, contact this number. Well, I'm accepting the invitation and I'd like a little bit more information.
Yes, but currently, if you would like to speak to someone regarding the invitation that was made, the appropriate person would be Dr. Gallegos. You do have several questions. So if you would like the appropriate answer to your questions, the best person to answer those questions would be her.
Okay.
Currently, she is not available, but if you could give me your phone number, she can call you back
Sure.
as soon as she's done with her meeting.
My name's Erasmo Castro.
Uh-huh.
My phone number is 956-572-1899.
1899. Got it, sir.
I appreciate you.
Thank you. Hope you have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Did anyone think that honestly that we were going to get any answers? Does anyone think that I'm actually going to get a call back?
Doubt it.
Again, the invitation was made. For more information, contact this number. We did exactly that. We contacted that number. Got no information. Now, according to the statement, we need to rely on them for accurate information. We got no information. And that's transparency for you folks. There's no transparency at BISD. Again, what we can confirm that there's been an active investigation by Brownsville Police Department. We can confirm that the federal agencies have been involved in the case. We can confirm that the board superintendent has been questioned, and apparently a board member or a couple of board members have also been interrogated. That's what we can confirm. Now, they're not going to call the feds in, Frankie. No más porque there's a couple of pens missing.
Yeah, I agree. And when you really think about it, there's so many prying hands wanting to get into that cookie jar, and there's so many ways in which individuals could take money. Again, half a billion dollars, $500 million budget. There's so many ways to scrape off a few bucks here and there. It's going to be interesting how this ultimately transpires. But I stand by my statement. I stand by my post. Individuals were asking me to take it down due to the BISD statement, and I said no. I'm not going to take it down. I confirmed with 3 or 4 different sources that have been very, very good to me previously, and that's what's going to happen, unfortunately.
Well, what again, folks? A warning sign, Frankie. Not a warning sign. A red flag. A big red flag, Frankie. Once you've got a connection between Hidalgo County and BISD or Cameron County, Hidalgo County is famous, Frankie, for corruption, for bribes, for stealing. I mean, they're littered with it. Once that there's a connection between Hidalgo County, and you've made the connection, there's a connection between Hidalgo County and BISD, something's up. There's something.
And I'm going to conclude by saying this. Again, I am working on a story that I was fed involving Hidalgo County. And what a coincidence. The day that person told me, look into this is when this happens. So there is a vendor. There is a vendor that I could confirm that is actively working with the FBI, that they're wearing a wire. I will be bringing out the details within the next week or so. I just need to confirm a few other things before I convey the message. But that's what's going on. And for our school district, for our human resource department head to be so vague in regards to this just kind of gives me more, in my opinion, it gives me more validation to say, hey, there's something there. So I'm sorry, go ahead.
This is where Dr. Gutierrez comes in. He promised board members in his district to get businesses from BISD too. Again, you've got to look at all these little different connections. You got to look at all these connections. You got to ask yourself, why de repente, Tim Ramirez became so buddies with the superintendent, all of a sudden, why is Tim Ramirez seeking to go back in after he got a little bit of the taste of, of vendor money coming their way? They're valid questions. The Hidalgo connection really is a red flag, Frankie. It's a huge red flag. For a lot of us that understand the wheelings and dealings and how things work at the district, a lot of us that go out there and put our necks on the line. And let me say, what we do is not easy. And a lot of people go out there, and I got someone going like, "Oh well, that's more." After you had an embarrassing stint at the district and all this, you're no one to speak about what happens at BISD. Who else is going to speak about what happens at BISD except someone that has firsthand knowledge in regards to the inside wheelings and dealings of it? Again, I made mention then, I'll say it again. I'm the only sitting board member that has walked his pretty behind into an FBI office to give statements and to offer evidence. The only sitting board member. Because it benefited an Erasmo Castro? No, because it was protecting our students, our staff, and BISD as a whole and our community as a whole's money. I mean, guys, these people are ripping us off blind. 53 million of your dollars went to crap that were supposed to be used for a performing arts center here. And for individuals, and again, and the reasoning back then is, well, we don't have that kind of money. We don't have that kind of money. Then you got Los Fresnos in San Benito building their own performing arts center. What's wrong with this picture, guys? What happened to the $53 million? What happened to the $185 million ESSER fund, the money that was coming from the government? What happened to all those monies? And unfortunately, these monies are used to cover the holes that administration has made for themselves, and because of a lot of the monies that are pocketed by board members. And anyone that doesn't believe that board members have their hand in the cookie jar are either dumb or se hacen or they're in the deal. A Mexican political line. Let's finish the statements and then we got to go on ours. Tim Wright used to throw cats in the resaca for fun when he was younger. He used to laugh in the process. He's not to be trusted. You got me pissed off when he said about the cats. And that's what, did BSC ever threaten you when you come? Oh, that's yes, 100%. They did. Again, they brought everything they could against me. One of the things, a statement that I want to make that I also got in trouble with back then, Frankie, is, guys, Frankie is coming out with a story in 2 weeks. I'm going to continue to pursue this as much as possible. We are not the type that commits suicide.
Whoa! I'm very careful with myself. Don't throw that out there. Don't wish ill upon.
I make mention of this, Frankie, because you're talking about a multi-million corporation, multi-million, hitting on billion-dollar corporation. If you take into account the land value and the assets of the district, I think we are valued at $8 billion, Frankie. As an entity, a lot of people are going to want to protect their entities. So, guys, we have to put up with stuff like this. We have to put up with the ridicule, those type of press releases, death threats, and possibly individuals or groups of individuals wanting to cause us harm in order to shut us up. That's what we expose ourselves to. That's a reality, a complete reality. So, please, do not take lightly what we do, because we don't do it for ourselves. We do it for the community. The game has been played for a long time. BSD board members got greedy and blew it up. Again, one of the things that somebody mentioned, Frankie, is we're so close, Frankie, to elections. You really think that board members, Frankie, are not out there trying to grasp as much money as possible? From who?
Vendors.
From vendors. Again, guys, these elections cost money. They don't cost an Erasmo Castro money. I'm not going to spend more than $5,000 on this campaign. And again, I say that because I always say I'm not going to spend more than $500. This campaign, I'm not going to spend more than $5,000 on this campaign. When you got a board member that can spend $100,000 on a campaign, you got to ask yourself, where's that money coming from? And is it connected to what happened this weekend at BISD? When you've got candidates like my opponents, Tim Farley, Tim Ramirez, already receiving money from vendors, you got to ask yourself, who are they going to serve in the end? Who are they going to be beholden to? To the community, to the students, or to staff, or to the vendors that are putting money into their campaign? And I mentioned my candidates because those are the individuals I'm running against. Every other individual out there needs to be vetted in regards to how are you funding your campaign. That's got to be the number one question for everyone out there in regards to the individuals that are seeking positions on the BISD board. How are you funding your campaign? Where is that money coming from? And I'm hoping that the teachers associations and any other groups out there, the retired teachers that are going to have a forum on October the 10th, ask, how are you funding your campaign? Keep up the awesome work, Frankie. Yep, death threats not only to you, but your family. Can't wait for that. Me too. And not one corrupt official or vendor loses their respectability. Linda has to cover because she owes Gutierrez her job and salary. They promised Tim Ramirez the job that his family members have always wanted. Gutierrez probably got careless with the bribes game because he has to feed two district board members. Take into consideration, you got now Dr. Gutierrez oversees two different boards, the BISD board and the McAllen ISD board. You can spend more if you stop globetrotting around the world. Or if the community would actually donate money to campaigns. Rene Gutierrez is in Hidalgo County. Could he be the connection? The right has long degree. Right now, everything is up for question. Everything. Everything up for question. Frankie, last words.
First off, thank you for inviting me today. A lot of people have been reaching out to me. Yesterday, as soon as I made that post, people have been reaching out to me. This is real. And again, what we do is very difficult because it puts us in a peculiar spot. And what I have in this, I don't know, game, if you could call it, is credibility. And once I lose that credibility, you'll never hear from me again. You'll never give me the time of day. So everything that I come across, I always make sure that I validate at least with 3 or 4 people. Erasmo is the last person I ask because I know he's probably heard it. So once I've heard it for 3 or 4 different people, and they all say the same thing, it has to be true. What we can confirm is that there is an active investigation that was started by Brownsville PD with the FBI. My sources tell me that 1, if not 2, board members and a superintendent were called into question. The reason how I got this information was because my contact yesterday advised me of a story that has been brewing as of late. And they said, look, there is a vendor working for the federal government. They do wear a wire in Hidalgo County, and they're also involved in Cameron County, in particular at BISD. They did give me documents. They did give me information that is kind of voluminous. So I do need some time to go through these documents, confirm with some of my sources, and then I will be doing a story. I anticipate maybe a week, possibly 2. But this is real. For the Brownsville, for the BISD school district to issue a statement from the HR department, something's not right. Why isn't the superintendent? Why isn't the legal department, the attorneys, issuing out this statement? To me, it is vague, and it seems as if they're trying to misdirect or trying to throw shade at us and say, hey, that's fake news. Don't pay attention to that. But as they always say, where there's smoke, there's fire.
Thank you for coming on, Frankie. Let me say again, we're getting a ton of information coming in, and that's important. One of the reasons why we put up the post that we put up, Frankie, is for other individuals to go out there and add to the information that we can confirm already. Does that make sense, Frankie?
Yes.
So we throw up a post, guys, and this is the way it works, guys. And a lot of people will get upset, like, well, you didn't get it 100% right. No one will ever get anything ever 100% correct, 100% right. No one. But we throw out posts out there in order to let individuals know that there's always already the word out there. And then you've got someone that knows something and they'll send in their bit. And then these other individuals that are sending in their bit and more bit and here. and out of everything, then we've got a story that is going to be mostly 100% accurate and will inform the community of what really is going on at the district. More importantly, what's going on in the lives of your children, what's going on in regards to your money. Folks, BISD works, the city of Brownsville works, Cameron County works with your money. This is your money. And even the money that is being sent in from the federal government, the federal funds, the state funds, guys, that is your money. It is being sent in not for the board members to play with or to pocket. It's being sent in for the better good of the community as a whole. We are the guardians of, the gatekeepers of protecting your money. And individuals like Juan Montoya, Jerry McHale, and other bloggers out there that try to inform the community, we're the gatekeepers. We're the only, somos los atalayas. We're the watchtower, not the Jehovah's Witnesses. The watchtower, los atalayas, that stand guard at the door and put all this information together and share with you, because ultimately it's your money. It's the education of your students, the well-being of your children that we care about. The only thing we care about. So, guys, keep on sending information to Frankie. Keep on sending information my way, and let's continue to keep each other informed, because there's absolutely no way we're going to get any truth from local media sources, from BISD PR department. Absolutely not. Mark Lucio knows this, and I mentioned Mark Lucio because of his very, very public lawsuit that he has out there against the district. Never going to get the truth from these people. We're going to get the truth from our community, and we need to continue to stay together. So before you go out there and bash a Frankie and demand that the post be removed or an Erasmo and try to circumvent with things that are not pertinent to the case, show a little bit of gratitude. Be grateful that there's someone out there that is sharing with you information that should be shared by individuals that profess transparency. Has anyone even heard from a board member? All of them run on transparency, Frankie. All of them. Have we heard from anyone? We should. And the community hasn't. I have. I've spoken to board members. The community hasn't. And that's unfortunate, because the community deserves transparency, because that's what they run on, Frankie, and deserves a better form of government than the one we have. Gentlemen, thank you for all you do. Thank you. It's the Russians, maybe, hopefully. Horribly corrupt people. Solo el pueblo puede salvar al pueblo. 100%. My son's case will prove that they are corrupt. I am confident. Frankie, thanks for coming on. Guys, continue to send information. Have a great day. Be good to each other. Continue to be good to me. God bless.